and welcome back to the channel. Stacks Rides, welcome back. Hi Con.
Hello.
Hello Oblivion Man. Wow, Mr. Obliv, how are you doing?
I'm alright, how about you?
I'm alright. Busy week.
It's been a very busy week.
Well, 2 weeks, shall we say.
Yeah.
Every park's now open in the UK. Are you excited to get back to some of the other favourites out there?
I am indeed.
We went on the 16th of March to Alton Towers for the opening day and the opening of Nemesis Reborn. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Nemesis Reborn. It's the actual ride itself, the theming around it, and the theming in Forbidden Valley. We're also going to express a couple of feelings about our opinions on the rest of the park, maybe. And then we're going to announce our next trip for the next vlog. I did film an opening day vlog, didn't I, Con?
We did.
However, there is not enough footage on there to kind of make it a full vlog. So I'm either going to do it as a short vlog or I'm going to put it as in this video, I think. So should we get started with our review?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So, starting off, so let's start off with how it was handled on opening day, because we have some concerns about this, don't we, Con? I don't know why you're laughing for, because this is...
It's the opening time we got there. That was one of the biggest problems, I think, to the start of an opening season at a theme park we had to face.
Yeah, it was. So, we got there about 6:30, 7:45-ish, maybe. Was it?
I think 6:30.
About 6:30. We didn't want to be there too early, like some people were. There was people waiting outside the gates at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's quite ridiculous. But we wanted to get there just before the mad rush happens, because I kind of knew it was going to happen. And we were one of the first people on the plaza. Of course, there was a few other content creators. Coaster Tog was there. Coaster Lytical was there. Our mates... RCM was there. They were already waiting from 5:30 in the morning. I thought, you're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. But we met up with RCM with our mate, and we had a conversation. I'd say about 7:30 to 8 o'clock it started to get a lot busier. Yeah. The plaza started to become a lot more full, and I've never seen anyone queue under corkscrew ever on an opening day. And it was just mental. Not even last year for the Curse of Alton Manor. I've never ever seen it that bad. Have you?
No.
Like, I've never ever. And you've been going to a few opening days now, and obviously I've been going more. But this is the worst opening day scenario I've seen. But you can imagine, you know why. It's the iconic ride for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it stretched all the way to the car parks.
From what I gathered, it went through the car park by the plaza, and it went all near enough going all the way up to the main car park.
Which is ridiculous. And then we thought, hours before we went to the park, we thought the hotel guest entrance is not going to be open. Clearly not. It's not going to be open at all. But unfortunately, Bianca did confirm on social media that at 9 o'clock, hotel guest entrance was going to be opened. So that meant a bit of a disadvantage on people from the entrance plaza, especially when you've paid to get into the park. I know us Merlin pass holders, we're not too fussed. Well, me personally anyway, I'm not too fussed. But I still feel like it was a big disadvantage for people that have actually paid to go into the park and they get special requirement. And I think they were like some of the first riders on there, which I think is quite ridiculous. So, yeah, there were people queuing up there. They were, queuing all the way up to Extraordinary Golf. That's how bad it was up at the hotel guest entrance.
I think there was 2 queues full of it. 2
queues, double batch queues, ready to get into the park. I guess in a kind of a good way, though, in a positive way. People that were stopping at the hotel guests on that weekend all had a wristband, so it was easier for them to get filtered into the park. However, I think it was just a bit unfair for them to go straight to Nemi. I think they should have gone the hotel entrance plaza way than rather going through hotel guests. But each to their own. I probably would have thought, brilliant if I went that way. But unfortunately, I went through the entrance plaza way. And to be fair, we still got there in the nick of time anyway.
Yeah.
So it weren't nothing like we missed out on anything. Crowd level control. There was a lot of crowd level control on that day.
Yeah.
Especially around Forbidden Valley and especially around on the plaza. However, I do feel like they could have dealt with that a lot better. So at about, would you say about 8:45-ish?
8:45, they started searching all your bags.
Like they normally do, is the normal procedure.
And then we thought, oh yeah, great, they're going to let us straight in. What they've done, they kept us by the main turnstiles till 9 o'clock. So obviously they checked everyone through, so it was all queued up. And then when obviously the gates opened, the turnstiles, that's when the mad rush of stampeding through.
But what I did find nice though was it did give it a chance to. It saved saving the bag check and waiting to get into the park like normal. But what was really good about it was they did count down the opening time.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really nice of Alton Towers to do. Like we was counting from 10 to 1 to be let into the park, which I think was fantastic. And I think that was a perfect little touch. Just to say, yeah, we're back into the season. It's happy. It's better than last year. Last year, we had nothing like that. We was just straight into the park and off you go to curse. However, this is where things got really worse on that moment, was when we were all trying to get through the turnstiles at pretty much the exact time. I'm no joke. I have just suffered an injury to my ankle, so I couldn't walk as fast as everyone else. And you don't like claustrophobia. You're claustrophobic. And it was really so crammed in. Really, really crammed. I've never seen it like that before. I was getting trampled on. You was getting trampled on. I think I got through before you.
Yeah, you did.
But I still waited for him because I was like, at the end of the day, I'm not leaving him just to disappear off the Nemesis. We'll get there when we get there. And absolutely, it was a disgrace on that part. I think that could have been held a better situation because they know exactly what people are going to be like. They're going to try and rush into the gates as fast as they can to be the first riders on Nemesis and to see it all first. And of course, many content creators was there, which I give them credit. Yeah, they did run but I think it should have been block sectioned, kind of like you let one batch go through first, then you let the next batch go through, then the next batch go through. And I think that would have been a lot easier. But however, I do see the point where Alton Towers was like, just let them go. Because they were going to push and shove anyway, either way, even if you did a batch system. What do you think to that situation, Con?
It's really, I don't agree with it personally, because health and safety is priority, especially at theme parks, because if you're not on the rides or not. And obviously they hadn't really took that into consideration in my eyes.
Exactly, absolutely.
But I really disagree with how they performed that action with us, because anyone could have got hurt.
Yeah, anyone. So walking into the park, everyone was running. We walked down to Forbidden Valley because we thought there was no point of running. We know we wasn't going to get first riders. We know we wasn't going to see it first because of the hotel guests mainly. And we just knew that there wasn't going to be. Okay, yeah, there was some sort of thing to say, yeah, okay, it was happy, Nemesis is now officially open, but we just knew it wasn't worth running down to it. So we just took a casual stroll. But walking into the park, already we've seen Nemesis Reborn stuff already, didn't we?
Yeah.
We've seen banners and posters, and there was like little containment boxes and barrels that said Phalanx all over it. What was your opinion on that?
It was great theming that they've added it on into Terrace Street, which is very, as soon as you walk in, you want to see some nice theming around. But Terrace Street hasn't really got that much with theming throughout the year, unless it's like Scarefest, Mardi Gras, etc. So having that little bit of theming around it does make it for it.
And what was a nice little touch, the Frogs Fountains had the Phalanx uniform on, which I thought was a very nice little touch to it. I thought it was brilliant how they incorporated Tower Street with Nemesis Reborn, and it was made for that day. And they've still kept it. It's now still there on the plot, on the Tower Street. It's still going. I think it's going to be there for the whole season. I guarantee it is. It's absolutely incredible to see that they are incorporating theming and a ride opening into the actual whole park instead of just keeping it in one area. So then we made our way down to Forbidden Valley, which was kind of a bit of a quick walk but slow walk at the same time, wasn't it? And I'll insert clips now of me walking and actually talking to you guys about it after I've said this little bit. We walked up through Catania Canyon, but by the bypass of Wickerman, and we were actually the last people to get through those gates very, very quickly, which we soon found out the reason why those were shut was because of the Congo River Rapids, which are now open. But yeah, there was an issue with the Congo River Rapids. We'll talk about ride availability in a minute after I've spoke about Nemesis, of course. We walked into Gloomy Wood, and the first thing we noticed was permanent lighting. Now, how long have we been waiting for permanent lighting?
Too long.
Those generators at Scarefest and all the nighttime events that we have at Towers, when they do nighttime events, they are absolutely loud around the park.
Yeah.
You can't escape them. There's no way you're going to be able to, like, it's not great having a big box with a massive light on it going down Tower Street or whatever. So straight away to see that the Curse of Alton Manor had permanent lighting was fantastic, wasn't it, Con?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the permanent lighting?
Well, all theme parks need permanent lighting. There's no point having generators every so often a year.
Exactly.
It's needed, and it makes that experience a lot better, especially when it comes to the nighttime situations, like the autumn after dark.
After dark, yeah, which is a brilliant event. It's now unfortunately finished as the time of recording. We don't know whether that's going to be back in the near future or during the summer. I'm hoping so, but we'll talk a bit more about that in a bit. But yeah, walking up through Gloomy Wood, the path between Gloomy Wood and Forbidden Valley, we had noticed a new change in that section. Apart from the permanent lighting, we had a refill station, which I thought was really nice little touch. I thought that was quite cool how they integrated a refill station there, because every time I've walked down there, I've always said to you, I could do with a drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no water refills around there. So to be fair, for us people that don't have refills, but we will now, because obviously we got new merchandise. We'll show that in another video very, very soon. But just to see that they had incorporated a refill station there was absolutely incredible. It saves going all the way down to Forbidden Valley if you'll buy the Curse and you want to refill, or going all the way down to Catania Canyon, near Wickerman, to go and get a refill. So I think it's a good idea. What do you think?
I like it. It needs a lot. There's not that many refill stations you really clock around the park, so having that there, it's a great little addition.
And it's nicely themed too into the area. It really is nicely themed. And as much as people don't really care about refills being themed, I do. I think it doesn't stand out in the park. I feel like it just looks the part of the park. And then walking up to now the brand new entrance of Forbidden Valley, which this is where we start getting excited, isn't it, Con? This is the bit where we all like, come on, this is the bit. And I've now got the pin badge for it, which I'll show you in another video. It's absolutely incredible, isn't it, babe? That new sign, it says Phalanx Facility. I thought that was going to be Forbidden Valley's name. I really did. But you had like red lighting, which I'll insert a picture of it now, of saying Forbidden Valley, which, wow. Like, the first impressions, you have permanent lighting on top of it. It looks okay. Yes, it looks amazing. It looks the part, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like you are actually entering a facility. It looks like a metal gate. Don't get me wrong, but what I like about it is the permanent lighting on it and the theme into it. What do you think, Con?
I think it's a really great addition. So if you look back for over the last couple of years, whilst Nemesis was having its redone, really realistically, you walk in, you go see now like themed entrance to the area.
Exactly.
But now they've added this into it. I don't like the name, the Phalanx Facility, and then it's got the next bit down, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I still think it's a great piece of theme in how they've done it, but it reminds me of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it does. You said on opening day, you went Jurassic Park all over again. And I really like it, man. As soon as I saw that first initial moment, I thought, wow, like that's incredible. I thought, wow, it's incredible sign so far. This is going to be one of those things. Is it going to be good, or are we going to be disappointed? But by the looks of it, looks like we're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
So then we move forward. Obviously, we've got Subterra on the right hand, left hand side of when you walk. Sorry, the left hand side, and that's looking a bit
misplaced,
but it still gives capacity. So I'll give it its credit. And straight away, the first thing you see in front of you is a big, massive helicopter. Now, if you've watched our Nemesis versus Hyperia, you'll know that our opinions on the helicopter before wasn't great.
No.
From the pictures we'd seen, he was like, no, I do not like this helicopter. Why is a helicopter being there? Why does it look like Swarm? But in fact, in person, it's totally different from Swarm. It's definitely something outstanding. It's definitely a universal style type of theming.
Yeah.
Around it, it's got speakers with things going on with the phalanx control of it. You've got an egg outside it in a containment box, which is basically off Subterra. You've got little Easter eggs with Thunder Valley on it. And it's just fantastic, isn't it? That initial helicopter. You've got the blades spinning around. It's fantastic. And to say that Merlin has put that into place with great theming, it shows that they can do it. It shows that they can theme stuff, can't it?
Yeah, it can.
What's your opinion on the helicopter?
Well, like Stacey's just said, the helicopters when we're seeing on the pictures, they absolutely look horrible. But now when you see it in person, you get a whole different type of persona on it.
Yeah, and looks...
When you look at it, you think, are we actually in a UK theme park?
Yeah.
Because we don't see that much theming in the UK theme parks as what you do like Europe, America and whatever. So to have an area to start developing, hopefully in the near future, the whole of Alton Towers can be themed to a substantial sort of...
Yes. And it's fantastic, that helicopter. I mean, the black and red on it, it's fantastic. The sound effects. I can't believe that we've got a world-class piece of theme in there now. It's fantastic. Opposite of it, on the right-hand side when you walk through that sign entrance, you do see the arcade building, which now has been named Arcade Training Facility. On opening day, that wasn't quite ready yet. It's now starting to get better. It's now starting to put new features in it, like grabbing machines and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we'll go to the park next time when it opens up officially, and we'll go and check it out and give you a review at the park then. But what do you think to the size of that building? I think it's enormous.
I think it's realistically too big for an arcade at a theme park.
I think there's going to be something else in there.
I think there is.
I have heard there's going to be a climbing wall in there, which kind of makes sense with the training facility.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, it's a bit...
And the theming on the outside at the moment, yeah, obviously it's not done, but looking at it on the photos, it doesn't look...
Well, the theming's actually on the outside's now officially done. They've took down the barricades now.
But it just doesn't look like it's matching the theming with the whole type of...
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
But what I have liked is the Phalanx helicopters, the pilots coming out with the containers.
Well, we'll talk about the actors in a minute, but let's talk about the next main piece. You walk down past the helicopter now, and the first thing you see is that downward helix of Nemesis. It's fantastic. And that entrance arch to Neme. Yeah. It's now Nemesis containment breach. And I think I love the tentacles wrapped around the archway. I love everything about that section. I think it's fantastic. Maybe they could have done with a bit more tentacles, maybe a little bit more, maybe, I don't know. It depends on the day I go. Like sometimes I just I don't know about this bit, but yeah, it just depends.
Personally, I think it's still a work in progress as they go along.
I think it is, and I think they're going to work more on it on winter close season when it closes in the winter, and I think they will. I think it'll be like Curse of Alt Manor. It'll add on every little piece.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the main event itself. Nemesis. What a fantastic track it is. Don't it look better now without looking at it on the observation platform?
When we first looked at the track for the very first time, we weren't keen on it.
We weren't.
But obviously, when we've gone and watched the whole construction of it, it looked the part. It's better than the old style, but obviously you can't ever beat the original. But it does look a lot fresher.
And to see it in person, literally in front of you, instead of from an observation platform, just wow. It definitely immerses you into that coaster now.
Yeah.
It definitely draws your attention on to watch that train go around that track and to make you follow it everywhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The entrance to the queue line, that's fantastic, isn't it?
I love it.
I love it. I love the fact that we've got tentacles wrapped around it. It's black, it's red, the 3D sign for it. It's fantastic. I think it's a brilliant sign. Do you?
I do. I agree on that.
I think it's one of the best archways entrance to a queue line that I've ever seen. And that beats Wickerman's queue line.
Yeah.
And I say Wickerman's queue line is really good. And I say Wickerman is probably one of the best queue lines in the UK.
Yeah.
However, this is fantastic. There's plenty of opportunities. It's fantastic, isn't it, Con?
Yeah, I agree.
Now, moving on to the station. We'll talk about the riding section in a minute, but we'll talk about the station. What's on the station that we absolutely adore? And I think everyone's gripped to it now.
On the stage, the animatronic eye.
It's fantastic. That is world class. What do you think?
I totally agree. That beats. I don't think anywhere in the world that I know to myself anyway has some sort of animatronic eye that catches you every time where it moves you.
No, it's just fantastic. I've got a video of it. I'll put it on the screen now. But what an absolute beauty of an eye that is! It grabbed my attention straight away. I'm not even kidding, did it? Didn't it? I enjoyed it to the point where I just thought it was fantastic. I thought the eye tracking movements, the way that it closes its eye, and then when you come out the station, it opens up again. It's it's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fully mental how it is. I think it's one of the best theming to that ride.
I agree.
I think it's probably the thing that's going to captivate people to go on that ride now.
I agree.
The teeth around it weren't too clean on them, but they weren't working properly on operating on opening day. Now they have been fixed properly, and they have now been working properly, and they look better. So we'll be going back down to Alton Towers very, very soon after our next trip. And we'll be checking it out again and just probably film a bit more about Nemesis while we're there, because we wanted to do a video at the park, but we thought we'd do this one just for, our reviews on it. Should we walk into the queue line then?
The dreaded queue line.
The 10-hour queue line.
The one queue line I absolutely detest.
To be fair, we didn't actually wait that long. We waited. At the start of the day, it was 7 hours.
I think it's about 7 hours.
About 7 hours. And we waited 2 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
2 hours, which I didn't think was too bad. What a queue line. Some of the views you get off that coaster is fantastic. Do you want to... You was going to say something then.
It's not that. I get they've got to have a long queue line, but me and Stacey, when we go through Galactica, there's one joke we always do, and it's the 500 miles by the Proclaimers. So we always sing it because of how steep the terrain is going up and down through the queue line. But how long Nemesis's queue line is? You're just going up and down.
I think it beats Galactica.
It beats Galactica.
I feel like we'd want to queue up for Galactica more than that.
I think if you had a half an hour queue, you spend 10 minutes just even getting to where you need to be.
I think to be fair, it is a
long queue line, but
it is.
What adds it better though, that makes it a lot better, is the theming around it. But there is one disadvantage, and I spoke to RCM about this when we went on it. There's I'm going to give a little spoiler here if no one's ever been on it yet. But there's a tank at the top over the first corkscrew, and it shoots it as it goes over. We were speaking about it, me and RCM, and we'd love to see it move the tank to follow it over, which I think would be a good addition.
You mean the gun?
The gun, yeah.
Yeah, the gun.
Which I think would be a good addition to it, whether they do it or not. That's obviously down to them. But,
down to Merlin.
But that would be a good addition, and all the tracking that they've got around around the queue line and all the theming. It does add it, and the observation points.
Yeah. They are fantastic, though. The amount of off-road footage I got off that ride on that day was fantastic, weren't it? And I just think it's overall, it's a brilliant queue line. I love the roll-on pre-show.
Yeah.
However, that track in that container, I'm still a bit iffy on it. I think I need to go round on it again to see it properly on a less busier day, because when we was there, it was quite busy, to be fair. And we didn't get much on it. Although we was there for like 6 days, we still didn't get on Nemi that much, and I did want to get on Nemi a lot more than I should have. Seeing as I'm the Nemi freak, as everyone calls me, out of my friends anyway, and you. But yeah, that roll-on pre-show, I love it. It gives a bit of backstory to the ride, of course. I absolutely love the fact that it's in a container box, like it's almost been smashed through. I do like that element. However, I'd like to see it on the other side. They're actually going straight through it, maybe, possibly. I don't know. I'm glad that they used the track that they couldn't use on the ride and used it for theming. So they didn't scrap it, or they didn't get rid of it, or they didn't do anything that was bad. I absolutely adore the queue line. I think it's one of the best queue lines, and the views that we get of the vertical loop.
I know, yeah, it's amazing.
I've never, ever seen views of that vertical loop the way I have done in this new queue line. It's fantastic, and I have been on that ride about
too many times.
Too many times to count on one hand. I have been on that ride so many times. Being an avid Nemesis OG fan from day dot. I mean, yeah, I know Air was my first coaster, but Nemi got me into theme parks. But to go in that queue line and see that view of that vertical loop, it's fantastic. And of course, the stall turn and that helicopter there was fantastic. And we noticed an Easter egg on there.
Well, me and you was trying to figure it out for a good time, weren't we?
We were. And who was it that found it?
I think it was Theme Park Worldwide, I think. It was someone like that.
And it actually means sit back. It's fright time.
So on the helicopter around the stall turn, you got on the back on the tail, it says SBIFT, which is sit back, it's fright time, which we couldn't figure out. We was there when we were standing in the queue and we couldn't figure it out.
We were standing there for quite a long time going, what does this mean? Like, is it a new ride coming? Is it something to do with new theming pieces? Is something going to happen to Air? Is something going to be happening? You know, something happening to Galactica? I don't know what's going to happen. And then we just kind of like went, oh, sit back, it's fright time. Like, we worked all that out. But yeah, that's what gets me interested in that queue, and I don't feel like it was 2 hours because we was that invested in the queue.
Yeah.
And the permanent lighting around there.
I know, yeah. What I'm finding a bit iffy is obviously you got the ditch where the whole main track is, where the vertical loop is. I wish they could have some sort of theming around it instead of just that helicopter, because by the loop at the bottom of the loop, it looks really outdated. Like you'd know that's from 1994. We should just have, even the red water, just make a puddle of red water. Yeah.
But absolutely incredible that queue line. Now we get to the stage where we hit merge. We go to merge and we go into the actual station itself. Oh my! But I've got no words for that station. It's absolutely beautiful. It is literally like a European coaster station. And you know what? Some people said it was better than Taron. I totally agree. Taron Station doesn't compare to Nemesis Reborns. Nemesis, just gives me chills every time we walk in, doesn't it? It started me crying. Because normally I don't get emotional over things. I did cry when Nemi OG closed. I did have that bit of a moment because I have it as a special coaster in my heart. But getting back in that station, the veins in there, the heart sounds,
It's like you're basically inside the creature.
It feels like you are in that stomach of that alien creature, and she's fantastic, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's just fantastic, and I love the fact that the phalanx uniforms are used as the operative.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I have no words for it. I really do not have words for it. It's fantastic, that coaster is, and it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's get on to the ride experience then. So we had our first ride.
Mm-hmm.
What row was it? Oh, now here we go.
Sure, it was on. You're asking me now. I've been on it too many times myself.
Third row.
Third row, yeah.
It was on third row.
I knew it was the first couple.
It was on third row. And to be fair, when we went up that lift still, I was really nervous because I hadn't been on that coaster for that long. As soon as it whipped you around the corner to go further on that first drop, it's more intense than the original. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. I think it's personally more intense.
Yeah.
I love that ride. I love the fact that we got whipped across the corkscrew. I love the fact that it got whipped around the downward helix, which is my favourite part of the ride, isn't it? I love the fact that it whips you round all those corners. I love it, man. That ride experience, it was a bit rattly. There was some sections where I thought it was rattly, and especially down the stall turn.
It wouldn't be the stall turn, it would be more rattly. It's near the end of that turn before you get into the brake run. That's where you got it more.
But I did find it a bit rattly in some places.
Yeah.
However, it's very, very smooth, isn't it, Con?
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about the ride experience?
Overall, when we was watching it, getting all constructed, it looked... If you looked at a picture of the original Nemesis, you wouldn't think it still looks the same, because you'd look and it looks like the stall turn's being pushed up, the loop's been like compressed down, but it still rides as it was in 1994. But the only twist I've noticed, no matter where you sit now, you get the same forces.
Yeah, no matter where you sit. We had a back row ride on night time, which was fantastic. I got to sit in my favourite seat, and even then I still felt like it was on row 3.
Yeah.
It feels exactly the same. So, talk about a nighttime package. Is it a nighttime coaster
Definitely.
or is it not?
It's definitely a nighttime package.
It's a nighttime coaster. It's fantastic. I'll insert a bit of my clip footage of Nemesis going around at night.
Mm-hmm.
That is fantastic. It rides even better at night. And it's definitely one of those with the lighting packages, the actors around it at night. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I think it is probably beaten Wickerman for that. Wickerman used to be a nighttime ride. It's beaten Wickerman. I'm sorry to say, but it has, Con. It really has beaten Wickerman. I used to say Oblivion used to be a nighttime ride, because Oblivion used to be a best one because of diving into the blackness. You couldn't see. But now I think it's just definitely Nemi. It's definitely Nemesis. Acting around there, fantastic. Got to give a shout out to Harrison, who plays Todd. Who played Todd on The Curse, and also plays now the Doctor for the Phalanx. Fantastic acting by him. He should deserve it, an Actor of the Year award, no offence. What do you make of the acting?
It's a lot better, and I hope it's a permanent thing. But I think with these actors, there's a twist of what something's going to happen in the next many years, probably in the next 2 years, 2 to 5 years. Something else is going to change in Forbidden Valley. And I think we'll all kind of gather what that's going to be. Galactica.
Well, let's talk about Galactica very quickly. It sticks out like a sore thumb now. It really does.
Especially when you go around the queue line by the stall turn and then you can see how grimy and dirty.
Yeah, it has had a jet wash. I'll give you that.
But it doesn't have a full jet wash.
It just doesn't feel like it fits in. And the theme into it doesn't feel like it fits into the area no more at all. So I'd like to see some changes. I'll do a separate video on that when we're actually at Towers, when we'll talk an in-depth review of Galactica and what changes we'd like to see to Galactica. So I feel like that would be a good, interesting video for you. Anything to say about around the park though?
There's nothing really that I've noticed that I could really get my attention because we're so focused on Forbidden Valley itself. I hadn't really paid attention to anything else. But there's one thing that I've noticed.
Oh no, here we go.
And it's disappointing me from Towers.
Here we go.
You probably noticed over the 6 days we was there.
Probably did. No.
The ride availability.
Ride availability is absolutely shocking for the first few days.
Yeah.
You had Congo Down.
Congo Down's just only opened Friday.
Yeah, it's only just, as we speak now, it only just opened last Friday, which was Friday the 29th of March. Yeah, that was down. Hex still hasn't been opened yet. Skyride is closed for the whole season, which I can understand because it needs its work. However, I do not want to see it close next season for ride availability. Not even for ride availability, but for accessibility.
What they really need to do, I know it sounds really daft, get another sort of mode of transportation, especially for people that can't walk round as so far distance.
Like a land train.
Yeah.
Like a land train just to take you around. Yeah, I understand that. I'd also like to see new changes to the monorail next year, hopefully. Take the vinyls off the window. Because struggling to get off-ride shots off-ride shots of Nemi on the monorail, I have to stick my phone outside the window, and that's not a very good idea with my phone, not at all. Because if I lose my phone, I'm going to cry. But yeah, one major change I'd like to say is Oblivion's had a really good spruce up, and I'm really pleased Oblivion has got a new spruce up. Connor, it's your beloved ride.
My beloved ride.
What do you think to the spruce up?
Well, there's been a lot of speculations going on recently. It's made me quite upset, to be honest, because I've got my passion for Oblivion just because of the drop. I love the drop. I'm the adrenaline junkie more so than anything. You put me on any roller coaster,
I'll do it.
I'll do it. So when I first saw the photos, I thought, looks lovely. But when you see it in person, the paint, it feels fresh, and the arcade Excite, it looks really a lot better.
I mean, Smiler's had some new work to it. It's had new painting in the station. It's had new painting on the theming outside. It's had new painting on the floors in the queue line, which I think was quite good. It needs that spruce up, Smiler does. It really, really does. I think we're going to do a really full review of the park when we go next to the park. But I just wanted to say a couple of things. Ride availability has been shocking over the week.
Yeah.
A lot of rides have been down. And maybe that's not down to Alton Towers' fault, but I think it should be advertised better.
Yeah. Communication with Alton Towers isn't really the best.
I mean, let's talk about Nemesis Rebron for just 2 seconds. It was running, but ride availability on that ride at the moment is not great either because they were running a train at half capacity, and maybe they were trying to fix that rattly sound. And I totally understand that they've got to put guest safety first, but I feel like communications would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
And I feel like they only had one train on that day, and it was terrible. They've got two now, and it's running up to full capacity. It's brilliant. I still think it's one of the best ride availability rides there because I've never known Nemesis to have an issue. Never. For all the years I've been, never have I known Nemi to have an issue.
As well, just want to point out obviously you have Rat Pass, and you've got your Rat Queue, and you've got the wheelchair access for the ones as well with the wheelchairs. What I don't understand is if people can't walk such a distance to get to the queue. Obviously now the old queue line used to go down through the rocks, didn't it?
Yes.
Now that's the RAP queue line. So walking down uneven surfaces and people who struggle to find it to walk on uneven surfaces as it is, it's a lot harder for them. Like where it used to be just the ramp straight into the exit. But obviously now
that's just for wheelchair users only and mobility scooters. But I kind of like the fact that they have separated it.
Yeah, I do, but obviously they should have done it a bit better, just so it can accommodate people.
So let's rate Nemesis Reborn overall. So Nemesis Reborn, the ride experience, what would you rate it out of 10?
A 10 out of 10, but there's one thing I'm missing about it. The old brake sound.
The old brake sound, yeah. I miss that a lot. But do you like the new man?
A lot smoother.
A lot smooth going into the Rebron.
But it's a 10 out of 10 experience and a 10 out of 10 for theming.
I'm going to say 10 out of 10 for ride experience. I'm going to say 9.5 on theming because I feel like there's going to be more to come. I feel like there is. And I feel like the only thing that's letting down Forbidden Valley now is Galactica, and that's letting that 0.5 down, to be fair. Overall, on opening day, around the park.
Shocking at the start. I think realistically, it was overcrowded as well. Far overcrowded. Like the increase...
28,000 capacity, from 20,000 to 28. So that's an extra 8,000 people at the park, which I think is a bit ridiculous, but if they need the money, they need the money to invest on things. Project Horizon has now been delayed to 2026 and will not be opening. It was meant to be open in March 2025. However, due to new expansions on Forbidden Valley, they have now announced that Project Horizon will be delayed. Also, we've got new planning commission. We've got 2 new brand new buildings that are coming. We've got one between the Curse Vault Manor and the maintenance shed for the monorail, which will now be a Scarefest attraction, which is kind of like survival games at
Thorpe Park.
Thorpe Park, sorry, it went out my head then. And then they're going to have another one on the Darkest Step site, which is exactly the same as that building, and that will also be another Scarefest attraction. And the dungeons, if you haven't already gone and done them, I'd suggest doing them now between now and July. They will be shutting in July for a new transformation for the Scarefest period. I'm really looking forward to that, to seeing what was going in there.
We had a bit of ifs with Bianca when she first started it out. But I tell you what, she's done a cracking job at it. I think it's 2 years or a year or two?
A year now.
So over that year, she's really...
she's done a fantastic job. She really knows what she's doing.
I'll tell you, money well spent.
And can we just talk about that? Oh, hang on. That.
Can you get me down a bit?
There we go. That's what they were giving out on opening day for Nemesis fans. And if you followed the construction, you was able to get one. But I think they're still in Towers trading at the moment.
I think so.
And then at the back, we've got new merch, which I'll show you very, very soon. But there's one thing that's proudly on my shelf. What is it, guys?
It is my Oblivion stuff.
No, it's not your Oblivion
It's the Nemi bolts.
I have finally got my hands on Nemesis OG bolts. How excited I was.
You was too excited.
I cried my eyes out, guys. But yeah, we'll show you a merch tour very, very soon. But for now, nothing else. Oh, hang on, there's a big announcement. Big announcement.
What?
Where are we going on the 6th of June, Con, for the very first time for you?
Oh!
You get to announce it to the world, not me.
Is it where I think we're going? Are we going to Drayton Manor?
No, we're not going to Drayton Manor.
Oh, okay. Thorpe Park.
Yes. We finally get to go to Thorpe Park, Connor's first ever time. Are you excited?
I am really excited.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Swarm.
The
Swarm.
I'm looking forward to getting on Saw. Not Nemesis Inferno, by any way. If you comment down below saying Nemesis Inferno, I'll like them, but I'll dislike them at the same time. Are you really excited? So that'll be coming up on the channel very, very soon, which will be going for the June the 6th to the June the 7th. Are you excited?
I am. I'm really excited.
He's been waiting to go on this. So we'll share our thoughts and opinions of Hyperia, which opens on the 24th of May.
Just 2 weeks before we go.
Which I'm really excited about. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the 24th, because as you know, it's all sold out, but it is what it is. But we get to ride Hyperia for the first time. I'm so excited to ride that. New roller coaster cred for us. We also get to check out all the merchandise around there. It'll be my second time going. I get to go back on all my favourites: Colossus, Stealth, Swarm, Inferno. I'll go on Inferno. All the favourites. I also get to check out Ghost Train. I've not done Ghost Train yet, which I'm very excited for. I'm very excited for Hyperion more though. But you're very excited, aren't you? It's Connor's first time, and we'll film all his first time reactions on the channel, won't we? Are you excited to show off your new reactions to a new park?
I will be buying the whole shop as well.
I will only be buying one jumper.
If you see me ever in this environment again, you see a load of Swarm merch, you'll know who that's from.
Possibly him. It's my top coaster there. Saw or Swarm is my top coaster there. But anyways, that's our Nemesis Reborn review, all done and dusted. I'll show you some off-road footage throughout this next. Connor, what's the last thing you should say? What should they do?
Don't remember, keep stacking those creds.
No, what should they do?
Sorry. Go and follow, go and like, and go and subscribe to our YouTube at Stacks Rides, obviously, if you're watching this. And also, go and follow our TikTok, our Instagram, and our Twitter at Stacks Rides.
And for the last time to say it, don't forget to subscribe. No, sorry.
Don't forget to keep stacking those creds.
Yeah, keep stacking. I'll see you in a bizzle.